Good afternoon. Very short video today. I'm not going to go over the one trade that I made today on CTNT. Fortunately, a loss, and won't lie, very pretty upset, but just another learning moment. So we saw CTNT have this really nice pre-market run and then actually fade all day, which could actually show the bigger picture here. But I was playing this morning reversal in pre-market. My thesis was that yesterday we saw STNI go from 2 to 16. So when I saw CTNT, I saw the price go from 2 to 8. Same price range, very similar price action as well. It looked good on dilution tracker. And right here at the support line, it was nearly 30% from pre-market highs. The volume was good. First green day, of course. I was very interested in this. Now, on dilution tracker, it says it's an American company, but Roland on his stream this morning said that it's Chinese, and I thought it was Chinese too. And I remember CTNT being a garbage company. So when I saw that it was a low overall risk on dilution tracker, I was wondering if that was even correct. And then when I did just a simple Google search, it's like kind of an American, it's technically an American company, but really China, like they have like their businesses in China or something. I don't really know. But my point is that I thought it was a little strange that it was low overall risk on dilution tracker because I thought I remember this being garbage. But and I explained this because I think this kind of plays into part of what happened with my trade. So I get in here. Let me zoom in. Sorry. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. This is the 1 minute chart. So the overall mistake was my entry was terrible. And it's because I bought at the close of this candle here. And the reason why I bought was the bigger picture. So me getting in the stock, I wasn't upset about at all. But when I was watching the level 2, because I wasn't really sure about this support line that I made. So I was really, really watching the tape. And the tape was kind of slow. It was just kind of slow, and it wasn't really breaking this kind of 640 area. It cracks, and then it has this one candle, but it was still slow. I didn't really see the tape moving that fast, and then this candle happened. Now, and I don't really like this type of candle because it seems kind of fakey to me, right? It was just like, it was slow, slow, slow. And even this action here was all kind of like fadey. So then when it hit the support and didn't really speed up on the tape like I thought, I'm like, okay, maybe I just wait for this to fall down here to this 5 area. But then it has this really big candle. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of fakey. I don't really like it. But then it had the second candle. Like, and usually when I see a kind of a, and I guess looking at it now, it's not that big, but I mean, it opened, I mean, the low was 630, the high was 672. So, I mean, 40 cents in a minute, you know, it seemed like a lot at the time. And the bid was getting jumped. But I'm like, okay, kind of fakey. But then this candle happened with this bigger volume. So then I kind of just got in. Like I hesitated. That was the biggest issue was I don't mind waiting after this first candle just to kind of confirm, but I can't show it here really. But when it broke this kind of 640 area, 650 area, and then kind of came back down a little bit with this low. I should have got in around the 660, 670 area, and I had the opportunity to do so. But that split second hesitation killed me again. And I got in at 687. I didn't like it to begin with, but I'm like, you know what? It's still not that bad. Support's right here. It's fine. And then immediately it goes down on me. And I'm like, okay, this is just fading. It's already up from 2 to 8. It's kind of this Chinese garbage stock. I just bought a fader with a bad entry, right? So then it makes this higher low, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm good. This is typically what I would like to get in, this higher low. But then it fails, and then it cracks pretty hard here, and I'm like, okay, like I think I'm just in the wrong position. Then it's slow in the tape, and then it breaks this little support here, and then I get out. Because I'm like, well, I'm going to be down 10%. I think I just bought a fader, and the next support line isn't all the way until down here. Or maybe here, right? And then, I mean, bare minimum VWAP's here. So maybe around this 590 area, but maybe all the way down to 5. And I got out. And then, as you could see, it wasn't even a minute. And then it closed above the support line. And I talked about in my last video, I'm not double dipping. So I am very, very happy I didn't double dip, because this could have just continued fading, right? So I'm not mad at all about not getting back in. And I'm not even really that mad about getting out right here. I mean, looking at it on this 1 minute chart, I'm a little upset. It's a little silly to get faked out by not even a 1 minute candle, right? But the entry was the problem, because if I got an entry even around this 660 area, 670, I would have been a little bit more patient. My whole mindset would have been different. If I got in at the end of this first candle here, just kind of respecting, like, oh, this is a big candle, it's the closest to support, right? I would have been good. I would have had the patience to kind of see what happens here, right? And then if I had just waited, I would have been fine. And then, as we see here, I put this line as my price target, and it did exactly that. Exactly that. Now, I probably would have sold here. I won't lie. I don't think I would have waited for all of this. Maybe some YOLO shares. But my point to all of this is the entry. The entry is so, so important psychologically and risk-wise. Buying here at 687 changed the risk reward kind of dramatically. And when I got in here, I didn't like it, but I was like, well, I still have over $1 a share here as reward. So I'm like, okay, like, this isn't bad. But buying it up here versus right here, I mean, change the risk reward from like a 5 to 1 to 3 to 1. 3 to 1's good, but 5 to 1 is fantastic. And it changed my percent loss from, let's say 5%, 6% to 10%. And most importantly, psychologically, it made me get shaken out. And the reason why this one upsets me a lot is because the thesis was there, and it's just poor execution by seconds. And it's a learning opportunity, I guess, in the sense of I just need to pull that trigger. Again, I don't mind being patient after this 1 minute candle here, but I have to pull. I can't have that one extra hesitation. I have to pull the trigger right here. And even if I got in on this higher low here, I think I would have been okay. Right? If I got in again around the 665, 670, and then this happened, I think I would have been more patient, instead of like, oh, I chase here, then it immediately fades, and then it makes a higher low, and then I'm like, oh, the higher low is fading. So I'm like double failing in my mind, and then it breaks and I'm out. Versus if I bought this first high or low, I'm new in the position. Okay, maybe it just fails. I could wait that extra second, right? So to me, the entry. Now, another learning point I think is that these Chinese tickers are just choppy and fakey to begin with. So that makes the entry even more important because I need the entry to buy that patience. If my entry is terrible, I can't have the patience because one, psychologically, it's just bad. And then two, from a percent loss standpoint, it's not good either. And I know that just because my entry's bad, it doesn't mean that the risk changes, right? It doesn't change the fact that this was the risk and that it barely broke it. But when you're playing a stock that's up from 2 to 8 and you got a bad entry, you're a little nervous. I mean, it's just as simple as that. So and then as you see, it faded all day. And I think that's because it's Chinese garbage, right? Even though it had a catalyst. I don't even remember what the catalyst was. So, I'm very upset, but I'm not too upset because the thesis was there and I'm pulling the trigger. I pulled the trigger on a pattern I'm comfortable with, and I was just a couple seconds off. So change my entry by a couple seconds, and I have a very solid 20% play. Very solid. So that was my trade of the day. And that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. So that's it.